Hi, my name is Irene Renstrom, and I live in Phoenix, Arizona, in a lake community that I was in for 20 years, living in this particular house. And then I hired a roofing contractor to put on a new roof, and then I started getting ill, and I'm doing this video so that other people that may have the same symptoms may find that it's from mold, fluorinated hydrocarbon, and formaldehyde that may be in their home, is what I found out was in my home. And so now I'll show you how my house looked before, when I lived here before the roof, and then how it looks now. And I have to use a mask to go into the house because there's still some harmful chemicals that are in there. Just a moment. This is the picture of my house with the pool in the front. I'd always maintained it perfectly, worked hard to have a nice home. This is the living room as you come into the house. And the flood actually first, let me go back up, the isoboard that the roofer suggested to make my house warmer was put under the clay tiles that other roofers had said is a bad application for Arizona because the tiles get really hot and the isoboard breaks down. And that was when we tested. We got high levels of fluorinated hydrocarbon, which is what that emits. Then later, when they didn't put the new skylight in that I had contracted for, they cut around the foam roof and didn't go back and seal for the skylight, and that fell in, the ceiling fell in during a rainstorm in November, and all the water was pouring into this portion of the house, which is the upstairs family room. And there's a dining room that sits right under it, and it poured right down to the first level, all the way down the stairwell, and my light fixture had 3 inches of rain in it. My insurance company didn't come in. They said that after 30 years of having the same insurance company that I should call the roofer, and so I couldn't file a claim with them because they told me to go after the roofing company, who then hired a remediation company to come in and do the work. And since I had never had a remediation company come in, I didn't know what was proper. And I, since then, 5 years of investigating, have certainly found out what is good and what is bad. And this is the condition of my house now. I finally had to let the pool go after keeping it for 4 years. I was paying for the landscape and paying for the pool to be maintained. And now I'm going to walk you into the house. But before I do that, I want to show you a picture of once the attorneys that never sent anyone into the house to fight my lawsuit. Once I hired a contractor, this is what we found on the beams. And the white is Microban and encapsulant that was sprayed to kill the mold, which, as you can see, did not. And then I'll start from the downstairs level, because that contractor came in. He was supposed to have used negative air machines, hazmat suits, taken and bagged all the materials. This is my living room that you saw earlier that had the couches in it. And this is the stairwell as you walk in. There was still water coming down that they never took the drywall out here. And this is actually the picture of the dining room that you saw that sits underneath the family room where the first ceiling that fell in, you can see where the skylight is there. That whole ceiling had fallen in and all the water kept pouring down. So I'm going to walk you up the stairs. At first, I found out that my voice was crackling, and I thought something is going on. And then I had my voice tested, and I had a paralyzed vocal cord. That's when I knew something was wrong with the house. Shortly after that, after the flood and the putback, I was listless, and my joints would hurt, my muscles would burn. I was tired all the time, couldn't figure out what was happening. Now you'll see, this is all the mold in the ceilings. The ductwork was taken out. I had my contractor take that out because we want to get to all the mold when we do the repair. And there was even mud on the ductwork in the house because the water had come in and no one had done the put back properly. Then the contractor that came in here, he said he was going to use a product called Decon 7, and when I did my investigation, Decon 7 is supposed to be first put on as a wet application, and then the scope of work order that was given to the contractor he didn't adhere to, which means sanding down all the beams. And so this is how my house looks now. The upstairs, this after they finished the first time, there was another flood, and they didn't come back in to change out the drywall. All they did was scrape it and texture it and put it back. And then I started having cold-like symptoms, and then my hair was falling out, my eyelashes were minimal, and I would get bloody noses from time to time. Didn't know why I was getting bloody noses. And they also, the first contractor, the roofer, hired a contractor to put the skylight in, and that wasn't done properly. But I couldn't go back after the contractor because of the settlement agreement, and the beams were cut short. I don't know if you can see this because of the way the light is, but they didn't put any hangers on, and consequently the settlement was about 2 inches. And the skylight now, I have called an engineer because you can see some of this doesn't sit right. I have the schematics. I've got to have this all put back because it's difficult to find a contractor since I don't have my insurance company working for me. None of the lawyers sent anybody in to do any testing, and the mold levels were very high. The formaldehyde levels were high because that comes from sick building syndrome that a lot of people don't understand. And now I can't even go into a carpet store, a furniture store, or new buildings that have had just been painted or flooring put in because those things make me sick. And the stairwell, this is how the contractor left it. He was ready to put it back, but none of the things were done properly. He just did tore at things. And the mold, actually, I didn't know, was down into my master, and the ductwork in the downstairs of the house was also muddy along this area here. You can see in here how the water intrusion had affected down here that nobody even touched. And the mold went all along these beams into my master bedroom. So that's how I was sick, and I would love to have someone talk to me about putting this back, because I've definitely had the wrong people for too long a time. And this house has been sitting vacant now for 5 years, and I need someone to help me because I'm still paying a mortgage on it. And this goes into the kitchen. The kitchen had granite on the counters. Custom cabinets were put up, and I had to have all the appliances thrown out. So once again, if anybody can help me, I'd truly appreciate it. And it's Irene Renstrom in Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you.